speak with your energy and not with your words. You could be saying literally anything, but it doesn't matter what you say because what's the energy behind what you say is more important. And you already know it because you feel and know my energy, not even seeing me, just hearing me. And that's enough. And shortcut to influence is state of flow. And it's well written and well described in Bible. In John 4:18, it says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out of fear. Basically, as you cast your love onto fear, fear dissolves and there's only love. As you shine a light into shadows, shadows disappear. That's how it works on energetical level, on emotional level, and even on physical level. And on Psalm 46:10, it's reminded, be still and know that I am God. It points to the fact that be still. There's nothing for you to do. Don't worry. Everything is rigged in your favor. And that's why it gets to be easy. However, if you're not aware of what's in your subconscious and you're not observing yourself and you're running around like a headless chicken, then odds are that your subconscious is secretly sabotaging you and your team. And again, it's not the words you say. Sometimes it's words, but most importantly, words is just a manifestation of energy. It's about your voice and intuition that gets influence. It's your body language and micro expressions. You cannot micromanage neither the voice nor body language indefinitely, and nor should you, because once you're in a state from place of love and care, it gets to be easy. So your voice and your language, your body language, adapts naturally and channels subconscious mind into perfection that you are set yourself up. And that's why it's really important to create conscious empowered leader image in your mind so that you have something to measure against, something to compare yourself against. And you don't want to compare yourself to others most of the times. It's far better strategy to compare yourself with the future version of yourself so you can always grow towards who you prefer to be. And the first stage of empowered leader is seeing yourself as empowered. It's seeing yourself as someone who dares greatly, someone who's taking action, because your action will prove to yourself who you are, how do you see yourself. Your action is both proof and a feedback. By your action, you will see who do you think you are. And I suggest that you impress yourself. So you become impressive. And once you dare yourself greatly, you will receive confidence. And you have beyond confidence once you release your past. So yes, you create your future image, but you also release and love every single moment in your past. So you release your past, you forgive yourself, and you dare yourself to see everything in your past as rigged in your favor, leading up to this present moment. And since you're here watching this video, you're in a good place. You're being guided to something great. And that allows you to give your permission to forgive yourself and love your past. And once you see yourself as empowered, as in your power, being able to change your destiny, to set your destiny, you, of course, you're confident because appearances no longer matter. It doesn't even matter what happens in outside world because you know you can either learn, win, or grow. So you will learn either way. You can learn from wins and you can learn from failures. And that becomes repeatable win, bringing you more confidence, more certainty, more power. And nothing can stop you. Only you can stop yourself by choosing to see yourself disempowered, lacking power, not knowing what to do. But the fact is, you do know what you want, and that's all you need to know. Because the next step appears automatically in the moment as you flow. But leadership is not about just you being in your confidence, it's also engaging with others. And you manifest most beautiful, most empowering engagements with others when you actually care about them. When you become their dream accelerator, when you truly care, what is your team caring about? What are their dreams? Not only why they came to work with you as a leader to support you on your vision, but also what do they want out of the life? Is it money, status, relationships? So what do they actually are working for? So and your responsibility as a leader is support them in achieving their dreams, whether it's with you or without you, and seeing themselves as capable of achieving their dreams. That's your role as a dream accelerator. And again, one stage is setting the future, setting the bold vision. It's without vision, people perish. Yes, that's absolutely required. However, the second step is also always releasing the past. It's not holding people back to their past images. And I'm sure you experienced this in your life as well when you work with others, when they kind of expected you to fail. They just kind of like expected and said, oh, but they didn't even give you a chance in a sense. And of course, it didn't matter to you. However, for some people, this is what makes the difference between whether they are A player or B player. It's good leader can make B player into A player. It is possible. And for this to happen, for this to even to be remotely happen, you can set nurturing and empowering environment by releasing their past, releasing the old mistakes they had, and seeing them as empowered right here, right now, and seeing that of course they learn from the mistake. Why would they repeat the same thing again if they already learned it? It makes no sense, right? Because once you see them as A players, the best you can have, the A team you own, and you know they learn from their past and mistakes and failures and mess ups. Of course, they messed up. They tried. They're learning. And of course, they're going to learn. So you're happy about that. And you encourage them with that. And that comes automatically as you see them as empowered in their power. Like, you don't have to convince yourself, do like kind of mental gymnastics of, oh, but like, it comes naturally. Once you see them in their power. Of course, they're learning. That's why they're here to learn, grow, and accelerate together with me so that we all can get what we want. And from flow, it just happens. You just remember, you just see them that way. And finally, once you're able to see yourself as empowered, you see them as empowered, it's not about just seeing it, and it's also about acting it. It's embodying it, and even your energy, even if you say no word, they know what you're thinking by your energy. If you appreciate them, they sense it. And if you appreciate them dearly, of course, you communicate it. And that's how you become a team leader by seeing everyone as an A team player and really treating them as such. And this doesn't mean the Lulu illusion and kind of deluding yourself that you have this C player and you kind of mind gymnastics way yourself into believing that and all these excuses and no, 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 but they're really good. Like, it's not about that. You give them option, and don't, if they reject your suggestions, they don't step up, and they come excuse after excuse after excuse, of course you allow them to move on with different team. You don't have to hold them. This is brutal self-honesty. You know when you see them as a team and they are a team, and when you see them, you try to convince yourself into seeing them a team, but honestly, in your heart, you see them as C team or B team. So, embodied leader, it's not about what happens in your mind. Yes, what happens in the mind is important, and that's just a part of the puzzle. It's just your mental understanding what's happening. And that's affirmation part when you remind yourself. But what happens in your heart? Do you really feel like when they fail, do you really congratulate them naturally out of your heart because you know that they're going to learn and make something better because of this learning? And or you kind of like, oh, again. Like, what's your first reaction? An embodied leader knows that it doesn't matter what's your first reaction, even that. It's okay, I have this reaction, that's not ideal, and I assume the state of I am ideal, I am empowered, they are ideal, they are empowered, let's move on. Do you need my help? How can I support you? And you move on. And you're being honest with yourself. And if they don't want to move on, you sense that and you say, okay, if you don't want to move on, let's move separately, move on. No hard feelings, no nothing. It's not a match. If it's not a match, no need to struggle. It gets to be easy. They go, I go, and we thrive in different places. And if they are truly a team, then amazing. Let's go together. Enjoy the journey. So it's holistic view of what does it mean to be embodied leader. It's see them, feel them, and act as if. And it's not like I'm acting as an actor, but it's I take action on behalf because that's the most natural thing for me to do. That's the embodied leader. And yes, you do need to protect your A players. And one way of protecting, we already discussed it, is if you have a C player, you let them go to protect your other A players. Because there's few things that are more demotivating to A player than needing to have energy drag of a B and C players. It is actual energetical drain. Obviously, empowered leader can deal with it, and it doesn't reduce their performance too much. However, it is still consideration that does have an effect on long term and requires, yeah, it requires care and practice. And not every A player is wanting to take that practice into their practice because maybe they're tech guru and all they care is about tech mastery and they don't care about emotional intelligence and this all the energy stuff, and that's totally fine. They don't need to master, and they're not there to master energy. So it's your role as embodied leader to make sure that they are surrounded with this nurturing, caring, loving, and thriving for best, growing and flow-based community, flow-based team. And that's how you protect, to make sure that everyone's in their right role. And same for the C player. If you happen to have C player on your team, they don't feel happy amongst A players. They feel like they're so out of the place. They're not in the wrong place. You don't want to let them suffer in your company. So, and of course, every player gets to choose what is the game they get to play. And it's not like, ooh, there's a C player and that's the A player, and they're playing that game for the rest of their life. It doesn't work like that. Each and every single one of us choose the game we play moment to moment. And yes, we have commitments to some of the roles. And if I decide I'm going to be a player, it's very unlikely for me to even want or desire to play a different game because I know this is the game I prefer the most. And until you are truly in your flow and honest with yourself, you kind of ask, how do I know? How do I know? But here's the thing. Once you once you're in a flow and truly love yourself and take the step number one, see yourself as empowered, take the step number two, see them as empowered, what to do comes automatically. It just appears. And sometimes, yes, you need to dare yourself greatly to do the thing that feels a bit awkward or uncomfortable. And that's okay. The fact is, your inner guidance already works. You already know what to do. And that's all you need. That's all you need. And that's why it gets to be easy. As you come from your heart and focus on energy you want to embody, focus on identity you want to see yourself in, and assume that identity and be that person with your whole heart and flow from that place. And that's how you influence simply with your being. You don't even need to say anything from that space because your message is already embedded in your energy. And if you want to have more conversations like these, join Flow Masters and have it magical.